think that's us live. Is that us live? Yes, it is. Okay, then we are live now, and it is the 2nd of March 2025, and welcome to our weekly update number 54. There we go then. Yes, so we are live, and it is it's been quite a blustery day. We've got one person on already. I'll open the comments up actually so I can see who is on the chat. Say hi if you're popping in for our live this week, and let me know if you're in Spain what the weather's been like. It's been quite blustery here in Malaga. We've had the Semana Santa, which is, sorry, the Semana Blanca, not the Semana Santa, the Semana Blanca. Semana Blanca is a bank holiday for the children here. It varies in which part of Spain you're in, which week it is. And last year, we decided to take the half term in Lanzarote because it's generally not that good in Malaga. I mean, Malaga's nice weather all year round most of the time, but it's not that warm. And we went to Lanzarote, and it absolutely tipped it down for the whole week that we were there. And then we're looking at security cameras at home. It was beautiful sunshine here in Malaga, so we might as well stay. So this year we decided, well, let's stay local. Also, a lot of things going on at work, a lot of things going on personally. So I said, let's just stay local, so we're handy. I went off just for a 3-day trip down to Fingerola, and it rained the whole time as well. So there you go. You can't win, can you? So we're up to 4 people on the live. I've just realised that I haven't even prepared the stuff that I was going to sort of came on top of me actually this 6 o'clock business now, because it's still light outside. Where normally in winter when I do this, it's dark. So yeah, I really should have brought up the content already that I had ready for you, but I've got it here now. Here we go. So we've got 4 people on. Say hi if you're in the chat, and let me know if you've got any questions, you've got anything to say. It's always nice to speak to people. Here we go. Let me just have a quick chat. Let me have a quick look in the chat. Lee Burkett, how you doing? Let me get your comments up. I'm getting better and better at this software every day. Here in Sitges, it's Carnival weekend, but cold but dry. We'll have to watch Mañana as the parade starts soon. Hey, that's great. Yeah, Sitges is a fantastic place. Fantastic place. I love Sitges. I haven't been there for years, but when I used to live in Tarragona, we'd definitely go and visit there. And I hope the carnival goes well. And I hope the rain stays off. I've just seen that. In fact, I'll show you that now. It does look like there's some sort of weather warning going on. Here you go. That's for today. So that's just that's along the Mediterranean coast, in where you are there, Lee. It looks like they've got a yellow alert, which isn't particularly bad. That's just it's a small alert. We're just more aware of it nowadays, aren't we? After Valencia, we seem to see more and more of the alerts on the internet. But enjoy the carnival, and Lee, drop me a photo of the carnival to Chris at upsticks.es, and I'll put it on next week. So yeah, drop me some photos across. That'd be great. Been missing a few photos from people out and about in different areas. And who else we got? Mike Ripper. Hey Mike, how you doing? Wet, cold and very windy here in Busot. Yes, it seems to have left us and gone slightly north, or some would say east, because it's like northeast, isn't it? So yeah, it's left us and gone your way. We've had an indifferent day. It's gorgeous this morning, but very windy, and now the wind's dropped down, and it's looking like it's going to rain, but it hasn't rained. So yeah, certainly good for the vegetables. So what we're going to crack on with today and talk about, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. So we haven't had any visas out this week, so there's no visa timings, but there is one thing that our client Chris has done this week, which is brand new, and I wanted to talk to you about it. I'm probably going to do a whole separate video on it. Now, the BLS office always allow people to do sort of home pickups for certain types of visas, which were normally the travel visas, to be honest. And it's not anything that we've ever studied and looked at and got involved with. But suddenly they have opened up this line where online you can book for somebody to come to your house. You do not have to go to the consulate. You do not have to go to the BLS office now and actually hand in your documents. But it's not cheap. It's not cheap. That said, with the cost of travel, the cost of maybe staying overnight, if you're really far away, say you really are over the west of England and you correspond to the London consulate and you've got to drive 200 or 300 miles, get accommodation, then it might be worth it for you. So as I said, we're going to do, we've got 10 people on, a few more than last week, so that's cool. We're probably going to do a full video on this now, remote non-lucrative visa service. But we got our first report back from Chris yesterday, who was very pleasantly surprised. He basically booked the remote non-lucrative visa service from BLS, and a extremely professional guy turned up who actually pushed the date back from a Friday to a Saturday, but he said he was constantly updated on text and they're very polite about it. Booked an appointment at his house, actually turned up at his house, very professional, went through all the documents with him as they would do at your appointment, then took digital fingerprints, took a digital photo, and then obviously made him sign the envelope, which is the return envelope for your visa. So check it out. Brand new, get your visa. Well, I'm not too sure it's brand new, but I wasn't available a while ago because we always checked the website and never saw that availability. And then Chris came back to me and said, look, what do you think to this option? I was like, honestly, if you're a little bit skeptical, I'd probably prefer if you went to London, the tried and tested way, but this seems to have worked really well. So, and here is what it actually costs. Let me show you what it costs. As I said, it's not cheap. So you've got the visa. So you've got the BLS mandatory charge, which is £175. This is all in pounds sterling for them to come out to you. Now, what I don't know is if this is a standard charge across the whole of the UK, or this dictates where you live, if it's cheaper or more expensive depending where you live. I will find out that information for you. The £571.89, which is basically encompasses all the fees of BLS and the consulate fee. That is mainly the consulate fee, and the logistics charge from BLS of £511. So it's not cheap. There's an extra 680 odd quid on top of it. But, you know, if it's going to cost you 400 quid to get to BLS office, would you want to do it from the comfort of your own home? Let me know. Tell me. And I'm also, and with Chris's permission, he did yesterday on the email me, said, look, if you want to use this for your updates, please do. And I'm definitely going to do a video about it, because anything could be great clickbait, I can tell you that. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. I mean, if you're going to London and you live in Peterborough and it's an hour down the A1 on the train, it's a 60 quid return, then evidently this is not just going to be an option for you. But for people who live in remoter parts of the UK, this really could be a good option. So there we go, applying for a non-lucrative visa from your house. Could you imagine that? And what else have we got going on? We have, with the renewals, we've had an awful lot of renewals drop in last week from both Granada, Almeria, and from Malaga as well. But this generally always happens before a bank holiday. And we had on Friday the 28th was Dia de Andalucía, which is our Andalusian sort of Independence Day, when Andalucía finally became an autonomous community, and we celebrate that, and it was a bank holiday. And lo and behold, before the bank holiday, we get a load of resolutions, and the favorables, as they call them, the renewals, come in so we can go on to stage 2. But this time, now I can't specifically tell you any details yet because I don't have permission from people to do so, unfortunately. But in Almeria, we've had a problem with a certain healthcare policy, which has basically caused for the first submission, the renewal, to be denied. And it's basically a change in interpretation from the subdelegation of the government, because we've used this policy on many different occasions. So if you are doing a renewal in Almeria and you recently had a denial or someone's, we unfortunately at Upsticks, we don't pick on files which have already been denied because they would have been submitted by someone else using a digital certificate, and quite often we just don't have the time to sit down for half a day, defragmentate everything and go through it if it's a complicated denial. But if you're in Almeria, you've been denied for an insurance policy, let me know, because I could probably work with your advisor, because it seems that they've had a change of opinion against a certain policy, which I can't tell you at the moment, but I will tell you next week if I've got permission to do so, and also let you know how to fix that, because it can be fixed. Remember, if you do have an initial denial for your NLV renewal, if it's a straight denegation, though you haven't got it, you can actually, because that file is closed, if you're still within that 90 days after expiry of the card, submit a new one. Okay, that's closed, that's gone, that's done. Okay, submit a new one and address why it was denied in that new submission. If it's something that can't be changed, the person who advises you will have to tell you what to do there. And if it's over the 90 days, you'll then have to appeal that denial. But yeah, so problems there in Almeria with healthcare at the moment. They're very, very strict for the renewals. Everybody else who's got the S1 just flying through. That's not a problem. And they've been even more openly accepting of foreign accounts in Almeria, where we saw the previous 2 years, it was a nightmare. They just didn't want to accept them. Now we're seeing them accepted or not, as long as they're provided with a translation. So let's have a quick look at the what else we have been doing this week. Now, this is our client Mark here, and he's an Upsticks Drive client, and he's got his vehicle there onto Spanish plates. We're up at MYK at the moment, so that is we're soon going to run out of M plates. So don't forget that it goes in a chronological order. Released. There's no real way of telling the exact registration date of a Spanish vehicle by the registration plate, because they just keep releasing them in chronological order, and how many there are that day. And here we are. This is Marlene there with Chris, who got her permanent EU residency. So what do we mean by permanent EU residency? Now, don't forget that if you're an EU resident and you have that card there that you can see that Marlene is holding up, that card, when you first get it, will not have an expiry on it. It will just say the date it was issued. But after 5 years, so you've got to count 5 years after the issue date, you need to switch it for a permanent one, which is what Marlene was doing there. Now, what happens if you don't? Well, not an awful lot. It's very rare that they would kick you off the system. In Marlene's case, actually, she was a little bit later than the 5-year date, but that wasn't a problem. She just presented, as she did for the first time, proof of where she lived, proof of her healthcare covered in Spain, and proof that she's got income and can support herself in Spain. And they normally just take the current circumstance and don't ask you to go back 5 years. Some police stations are different. That's the case in Malaga. I know in other regions like Alicante and Murcia, it's a lot more complicated. But yeah, here, as long as you can prove that you can support yourself and you've got healthcare in place, they'll give you the permanent one, no problem. And being an EU citizen, whatever happens, it'll always come out in the wash, and you'll always get your residency as long as you can support yourself in Spain. And the rates are very low for EU citizens. Okay, then, right. Well, we're nearly on to the old YouTube comments, but let's have a look, see who else is on the comments. And Mike said, my wife's in Bilbao this weekend and the weather is better than here. Yes, yeah. Yes, I can imagine. Yeah, I'd love to. I haven't been to Bilbao, actually. I was looking at flights to Santander with Ryanair, and they were very cheap. And because I'd love to drive it, but it takes so much time out to get there and get back. I think if you've only got a limited amount of days, if you want to go to the north, probably fly it. Let me know, Mike. Let me know your opinion. I need to see something on the ground, and also get to send us a photo of Bilbao as well, so we can show it on our next update. But yeah, let me know your opinion on that. I was looking because I haven't been to Asturias, I haven't been up to Bilbao, I haven't been up to País Vasco or any of those areas, and I was thinking about flying and then hiring a car at some point, maybe in the summer to get a bit of cooler weather. Colin P, hello from Canada. What time is it over there? Hey, Colin. Great to see you on. Thanks for tuning in. And we've got Andy Aylmer. I hope I got that right, Andy. Hi, hope you're keeping well. Yes, still light here in Leicester in the UK and been very bright and warm all day. That's cool. So you're very close to where I was brought up in Peterborough, Leicester. Dare I say, in the mid-90s, we used to probably go to Leicester to have the odd night out. It was very close on the train for us. So that's it. Okay, well, that's our residency and visa section. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over and look at YouTube. And we've got quite a few YouTube comments to go through today. And there's a buy me a coffee thing here. I'm going to get, there we go. If you enjoyed the content and you want to buy me a coffee, you can buy me a coffee there. I worked out how to do that on this software. This time I'm going to hide that actually now for a bit. It was been up there for a while. I'll put it up later on, shall I? And the link's also below. If you're enjoying the content, you can buy us a coffee. So let's go crack on with the YouTube comments. And there's a few questions as well here. And this was a short that we did, Stormy in Andalucía, and Kevin the Argonaut said, not so good, keep it down there, mate. We don't want it. Well, it arrived with you today, didn't it? He also said, I saw you had a 4.1 earthquake at about 3:30 this morning. Sunny Spain, eh? Didn't feel the earthquake at all. Don't know where that was, though. It's quite common here, especially towards the Granada and Loja area. Alhama de Granadas have quite a lot of earthquakes that way, and also out towards in the Med as well. We get quite a few that we just don't really notice. And here, this was on our last update. And thanks to Lee. Lee, is that Lee? That's you on the comments, isn't it, Lee? Hey, there we go. And Lee, who's just gone off to go to the carnival, said, "Sorry to hear about Player, but that's one long life. Yeah, Cat still devastated by it. Really, to be honest with you, it sounds crazy because it's a cat, and we also lost a member of our family as well. And but the cat is." In her later years, when we used to go away, used to have to get somebody to come in and look after her, and she'd always be screaming at the door when we got back. And this time coming back from a few days away, it was very, very strange to have a silent house, I can tell you. I thought I'd message about the nest you showed on the video. We live near Barcelona, and currently we're having trouble with processionary caterpillars. Excuse me. They live in white cotton wool-like nests in the pine trees. They get their name from marching along the ground in lines. They are seriously dangerous to animals. Contact with them has killed many dogs. The hairs on the caterpillars cause allergic reaction, but in the mouth and the throat, hairs cause the skin to die. Quite horrid. There's an app called Doguify, which people have started to post sightings of the creatures on as a warning map. I think they are around for the next 8 weeks or so. But your video reminded me of these things. Now, this is very, very important. So definitely check that app out, Doguify. I know these are rampant here in Andalucía as well. And I mean, I'm sure the poor caterpillars don't know that they're deadly creatures. But if you've got dogs, I think this time of year, do not go around pine trees and stuff. Because you'll see these big, if I can get some, I'm going to go out and see if I can get a photo of them, big bundles of like cotton wool, and they will be along the ground, and dogs will sniff them out, find them they're interested, and then you have to start breathing in the hairs off the back of them, and they could have a really bad reaction. So that's a very good point there, Lee. Cheers for that information. And Doguify, I'm going to check that out. And hopefully that can help save some dogs this year. Just avoid the pine trees where they live for the next couple of months, which might not be easy. If you're walking your dog, I understand that, but there are danger areas. And the Andalucía, what happened? So that's from Anthony Cares. Dear Chris, what's that time you and your family are going through? Our thoughts and love are with you. We're not able to watch it live on Saturday as we are visiting friends. Another great show. Thanks. Love the live phone call too. Yep. Obviously. Sort of happens how it happens. And we've got a new banner. Do you like it? Look, we've got a YouTube banner at the back as well now. There you go. We've changed the old one, which I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Anybody get any ideas to do with what to do with the old one? What should we do with the old one? Can we sell it and get some money for charity, maybe? Don't know. Cut it up and use it as a tablecloth. Amber Alert and the Costa del Sol. Yes, this was when we were on having a short break, as I said this last weekend, back now, and it was short that I did there. I keep doing shorts and just I've got to be less precious about the channel, to be honest with you, and just get more stuff out there as and when it happens. I always try and think, wow, other channels look a lot better. My recordings aren't that good and the sound's not that good. And I think, well, it's more about just getting the content out. I'm not doing it to earn money from the content. I'm doing it because my passion is Spain. That's our business as well, and it helps promote our business. So I've started doing more shorts. So I see something interesting, just record it and put it up there, and hopefully someone else will find it interesting as well, like water running down the road. And but yes, Patrick, it does help the reservoirs an awful lot. And it's good to see that the old videos are getting some traction as well. The Algorta, how to get a Padron certificate, it's 2 years since I did this one, and SRF RF4IF SORIF. Do they speak English? No, from what I remember, they don't. Unfortunately, they don't, but they were very pleasant. But if anybody lives in Algorta and give me an update, obviously they didn't when I went in, but I did speak to them in Spanish when I went in, so I may be wrong there. But anybody who lives in Algorta and can answer that would be great. And check that Padron video out. This is on my Amber Alert video. I met a couple of Robbo. I hope where are you, Robbo? Are you on the live today? No, Robbo's not quite on the live yet. Got some good shorts coming out, Robbo, and his channel. Met a couple of potential customers today in Los Alcazares. Joe and Janet from Halifax have a call booked in April with you. That reminds me, let's put the book a call QR up, shall we? Here we go, book a call. If you want to book a call, get one booked in. The calls are nearly running in April now. There's only a certain amount of calls that we can do, so we like to dedicate as much time as we can to people who are thinking of moving to Spain. If you are thinking about it, just get a call booked in. And you can see they're already running at the end of March. At the moment, though, for people who are in an absolute emergency and email us and stuff, we will try and help everybody that we possibly can. But yeah, the calls are running quite late at the moment, but you book a call, QR code is there. And Kev again, it's hard about keeping the water runoffs clean in Malaga. Yes, now this again, I was walking through the industrial site and I just had to show, I couldn't believe how much the bamboo style plant called cañizo had grown up, and that's what blocks the water in the runoffs. And he said it's almost like they need to do what they do in the US and build huge concrete runoffs, much easier to keep clear, pricey, and all that rebar concrete will upset the Swedish Goblin of Doom and her call, which can't be a bad thing either. But yeah, well, look, I'll be honest with you, that is what needs to be done in that one that I used in this short here, because they're fighting a losing battle there in terms of it, dredging it. I can tell you they really are. And moving on to our video. Hang on a minute, let me just show you it here. This video. So this video I published today, which this is the thumbnail to it, which is, would you live in Figueroa? Now, let me explain the thumbnail. Now, the thumbnail is, that is a mural that I found on the wall in the in one of the bar areas called La Galeria. And then obviously I just superimposed it on a picture of Figueroa, and I was quite impressed with that. But we got a lot of comments. It's already had 110 views already, and I forgot to take my gimbal with me, so it's quite unsteady. But need to get one of those gimbal cameras. That's what I need to get. The gimbal's a pain to go around with a gimbal. You put your phone on it, and then sometimes it turns itself off and destabilizes, and it's all right for doing the odd thing. You're also very self-conscious when you walk around with a gimbal like that. It's just too big and bulky, and if you're just out for a day with the family, you can grab a few pictures or a few videos with your phone, but one of those little handheld cameras, I think, is the way forward. So watch this space. I can't get the Osmo 3 because there's just not the parts. They're not about at the moment. So we got some comments on that Fingerola video, which was Jeanette Harding, who's coming very, very soon to Spain with a visa. Great video, Chris. No, I wouldn't want to live there. Looks like the kids are having fun. Yeah, kids having fun. Fingerola's great for kids. The Norville too. Yes, I would live there. My friends live there. You need to get an anti-shake camera. You are making me dizzy. That is true. Yeah, even I was dizzy-headed in it. Fabian Jones, 100% would live there. She said, last time I went 2 years ago, there was a huge Zurich slick in the sea, reminding me of a UK river. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes boats generally dump things as well. We have that in Torremolinos quite a bit, near the Guadalhorce River, where sometimes it seems to get very filthy there. I don't know why. Those people seem to fish there. So, there you go, Mike, S29. How you doing there, guys? We always enjoy a visit to Fingerola, but prefer living at the west end of Torremolinos and Pinillo, and can walk to Arroyo de Miel, downtown Torremolinos, Benalmádena Marina, the Calariela Beach, our local train station at Pinillo, to go to either direction, Malaga or Fingerola. Yeah, that's a great location. Well, perhaps when we have the next residency appointment, I'll come down and do the appointment, and we can grab some time off, and you can show me about, and we'll do a video. How about that? Because although I've been here for 25 years, people sort of assume that you know every area, everywhere, and I don't really know these areas. I know the Carihuela very well because we park in the underground car park there and just nip down to the beach. But El Pinillo, that area, don't know it at all. It'd be great to know the little walkways and give people other options of and ideas of where it's good to live. So yeah, I'll come and meet you probably for that appointment, and if you're up for it, we'll do a video. And from Mike, who was on the, I think it was Mike on the, no, Mike's not on the chat today. Great video, Chris. Good place, a younger crowd, but prefer Estepona for retirement. Yeah, maybe we should do an Estepona video. And Mad David said, okay for a holiday or a day out, but not to live, not for us. Cheers. Yeah, a lot of people have that opinion, I think. And Kevin said about the Fingerola video, interesting as always. Thanks for sharing. Looks a nice resort to visit, but I wouldn't be able to afford a property of size for the size of visitors we need if such a property exists in a Spanish coastal town. Yeah, it's definitely not going to get something there for the family to stay in. 3 or 4 bedrooms would cost you close to 800,000 or 900,000, I'd say. He just said it's been persisting down for 2 days here. Some badly flooded roads. Just on Amazon ordering a sump pump. The jib is now a very shallow pool. Oh no! From the undeveloped side of the underbuild. 1 day on buckets and bailings enough for me. A more permanent solution is necessary to stop the foot of water piling up on the other side of the gimbal and gradually sleeping through. Oh, it sounds like you're having a nightmare. It is. Rain, Spain and water, everything seems to collapse, doesn't it, as soon as we get a bit of water. And then last but not least, just don't forget to check out yesterday's live with Scats. We did the Ask Us Anything and the NLV residency changes. We have got a change in immigration law on the 20th of May this year, and I updated you on the new text, the most important parts. So watch that if you're interested in what's going to be happening for the NLVs in 2025, and I'll also be doing our own video on it. So I think that's that for the YouTube comments. Go back to the comments. Who's been commenting here? Hang a minute. Mike said, I wonder why it doesn't affect cats. Huh. Maybe it does. The processionary caterpillars, maybe it does. I'll have to Google that. Or maybe cats are just not as rummagey and interested in the caterpillars as dogs, maybe. But yeah, in theory, why would it only affect dogs? I don't know. Our neighbour has goats and he muzzles for his dogs, which he reckons protects them from the processionaries. I suppose it would, because if they get in your throat, that's what kills them. So if they can't actually eat them and get them in their throats, then maybe muzzling them this time of year would. That's not very nice for the dog, is it, to be muzzled? But yeah. Okay, then let's crack on and what's been happening in Spain. Well, just a couple of bits now because we're running up to the half hour. And thanks to we've got 7 people watching still, so that's awesome. I wanted to talk to you this week about the different variety of foods. There's a couple of things I wanted to do. There's one to tell you about the variety of foods, and there's also I've got a bit of a show and tell going on here as well. So we were down on the coast, as I mentioned, for a couple of days, and we found that I'm quite a big fan of Argentinian food. Really do like meat, and I also like the empanadas. And we found these 2 fantastic restaurants down the coast. They weren't expensive at all. So the first one I want to show you is this one here. Now, the only way we found this one was because we got an Uber to Figueroa and an Uber back, and it took us down this back road on the way to where we were staying. Otherwise, I'd have never found it. And it's just behind the BP station, which is next to the castle. And it's a fantastic restaurant. And it was, they have outside, they have the coal fires going. And then when they bring the meat to you, they present it to you on the table, as you can see there, with a coal plate, so it just keeps it warm, so it doesn't overcook it. It just makes sure, because there's nothing worse than getting the meat that is cooked to the point which you like it, where it's rare, medium rare, whatever, but then it going cold on your plate. And I found this was a fantastic solution. And you can see the coals underneath the meat there. Very simple solution, but great. I haven't seen one of those before in an Argentinian restaurant. I've seen the gas ones, and I've seen other hot plates which come out hot, which are preheated, but never one like that. And I thought that was a fantastic method of keeping the meat warm. So we had an entrecôte and a solomillo, but I get stuck with the translation. So apparently a solomillo is the tenderloin or the sirloin. Is that right? So here it's got sirloin, beef tenderloin, solomillo de ternera refers to the most tender and lean cut, often used to fillet, mignon, or my French is rubbish. But yeah, don't know. Is the solomillo? I only know it as solomillo. I wouldn't even know what the correct translation is for it. And then the entrecôte that we had, that makes more sense. In France, entrecôte refers to the boneless steak cut from between the ribs, hence why it's called entrecôte, which is between ribs in French, I assume. This is typically a ribeye steak in the US and UK, but can sometimes refer to sirloin in certain regions. I mean, it gets confusing. If you're a butcher, you know actually what they are, let me know. Because then I did a bit more research, and it says entrecôte in English is ribeye steak, and I'm sure it's not, because I thought that ribeye was something called cubirol, but then it turns out cubirol is the Australian way that they say cube roll for something for it. So I get confused. I know that if we have entrecôte and we have the solomillo, it's going to be a good gig, I can tell you that. And then yesterday for a snack, we had these. Again, another Argentinian delight, which are called empanadas. And basically, they're like these savory pastries with different flavors in them. And they had everything. They had some spare rib flavors, chicken curry flavor. They had a cheese and spinach flavor. They had the spicy mince flavor. And they were absolutely amazing. And they charge you, I think it was 25 euros for the 6 luxury empanadas and a couple of beers and a couple of drinks for the kids, which filled everybody up. And here is the restaurant in Figueroa if you'd like to visit it. Got 5 stars, 159 reviews, so that's fantastic. And the lady was very nice. So she was on her own. She was a bit rushed off her feet, but yeah, it was definitely a great place to go for a snack for midday if you don't really want a big meal. So there you go. I'm just going to check, see if we get anybody on the. Here we go. Oh, Robbo, son, Robbo, just talking about you there, Robbo. How you doing? Just saying how good your shorts are. I mentioned your comment on the YouTube section. And now, last but not least, a bit of show and tell now for you. Now, as you may or may not know, I really like cactuses, succulents. It's something, for some reason, I don't know why, and I've got about 100 different pots. And I was going to show you, for those of you moving over, how easy it is to propagate these. Now, I'm not advocating now going around and stealing cactuses and succulents from either people's private land or public property. But if some happen to fall off, or you need to, or the plant, you need to do the plant a favor, because if you do take off the shoots, it does help the main plant to grow, because the energy goes to the main plant and not these little shoots which come off. Okay, so this is an agave, which is, or I think in English you would say, in Spanish agave. So do you say agave in English? I don't know, agave, let's call it. Apparently this is the anomala, but I just googled that and found that out. But these are so easy to grow, and these normally shoot off of the bigger ones, the huge ones. You'll see them at the bottom. And you're doing the plant a favor if you're just saving this little, they call them hijos in Spanish, little children of them. And you can see it's slightly damaged, so you can pull that off there like that. And what you want to do with these in winter, you can actually just tidy off some of these bottom leaves here like that and cut them back with a knife, and then just plonk this in a bit of water on the side, not in direct sunlight. If you go in direct sunlight, you're going to have to always change the water because it goes murky very quickly. It wants to be in shade, but not in the dark. All right, change the water until you get the little roots sprouting out the bottom. In summer, though, what you need to do is put it straight in the ground and make sure it's moist. If you put it in water in summer, the likelihood is that it's just going to rot because it gets so much more warmer. So in winter, autumn, when it's cooler, less than 20 degrees, you can put this in water, propagate the roots, and I'll tell you what, this turns into an absolutely gorgeous plant. You'll see that it'll grow. They grow huge, but if you keep them in a pot, then generally they'll stay quite small. And that's a cutting that I got this weekend when I was out and about. And another cutting I got, which is called a ghosty, actually, and this is a succulent. There's two ways to propagate this. Now, this is a ghosty, which name I could do, again, I googled, it's a graposedum, right? And you'll see these growing everywhere, and you just need to break off a little section like this. And then you want to get rid of these ones at the bottom here, but don't throw them away. I'll tell you why. And up to about there. Now, I never propagate these in water, never put them into water, just no need. They're so hardy. This can go straight in a pot as it is, like that. Make sure it's well drained. So what I normally do is have quite a well-draining soil and then put a slightly denser soil at the bottom of the pot, so the water retains but doesn't actually sit around the base of the plant. It has to look for it. And that'll go in, and that will literally just grow. That's a lovely little plant pot as it is. And then you'll see eventually it will turn into 3, 4, 5, and you can break them up and have more pots. And this is one that I got on the coast there. But if you see one that's completely knackered like that, I found this one on the floor, do not despair, because it takes a lot longer. But these little leaves here, there you go. If you just leave them on top of some moist soil, so you don't really want to wet it, you want to use a spray, once a week or something on it, eventually they grow from the bottom here. There we go. You'll see little leaves will come, and then they'll turn into their own individual plants. And this takes about 6 months. So, but I've got them all here, and you can just line them all up, leave them. In fact, the longer you leave these to dry out, the better, because when you do put them back on the soil, then they realize that they need to sprout to come to life. So I will probably strip this whole thing back and then leave it for a month or so. Just these, because these are full of life, full of moisture, and then eventually just stick them in a little bit of soil on top of the soil, and they'll turn into lots of lovely little plants. So there you go. That's your show and tell for today. Right, we're running up to 39 minutes, and time for an early tea tonight. We're definitely not having it Spanish 10 o'clock at night tonight, because it's Sunday night, early to bed, big week next week. And just the last message here from Mike Solomia is fillet for sure. Okay, cheers, because I have no clue the exact translations. I learned all about meat here. I moved here when I was 21. Can't say as I particularly went to the butcher's much before I was 21, and now I'm learning a lot. So there's Mad Davi's just popped in. Good evening, David. We're about to wrap up for the evening, but thanks for your comments. If you didn't see that, I've mentioned your comment before in the comment section for YouTube. So yeah, cheers, guys. 6 you in this evening. So it was great to see you all. And don't forget that we've got our weekly update coming up next Sunday at 6 o'clock. I'm still keeping it for March on Sundays. I'm still toying with the idea of moving over to Thursdays. I don't know. Normally on a Sunday, I'm sat at the computer anyway, getting the week ready. So I'm still toying with the Thursday idea, but I know I can definitely do it live on a Thursday. But anyway, for the month of March, we're going to stick to Sundays. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will catch up soon. Oh, and don't forget to book a call if you're interested in speaking to us about getting any residency services like NLBs, registering your vehicle in Spain or anything like that. Get your call booked in now because we have got a bit of a backlog of calls. And if you enjoy the content, there you go. You can buy me a coffee here. There we are. There we go. By hitting that QR code and then we'll buy me a coffee. I mean, it says buy me a coffee, but the truth be known is, you can spend it on beer if you want as well. I think it just comes, I think it's €5 or something. So, I think if they did a buy me, they probably wouldn't be able to buy me a beer. Would they be allowed to do that? That website doesn't exist. Maybe we should invent one. But yeah, buy me a coffee. I promise I'll spend it on coffee, not beer. Anyway, guys, thanks for that. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch up with you all very, very soon.